the whole time. I mean, it was a quasi-private banking group that took over in 1913 with some robber barons. It's had some policies that were for the cabal, not the American people. But I think it's clear now there is a major split in the Federal Reserve, with the head of the Dallas and Kansas City Fed becoming very, very critical of the New York Fed. So for folks that don't know the inside baseball, you know some of the folks pretty high level at the Federal Reserve. What are they telling you and what's really going on? Because, I mean, I looked at the history of the Federal Reserve. I've never seen these unprecedented statements by different Fed branches against the New York Fed.
Well, my friend used to be chief economist for the entire Federal Reserve. He happened to office out of Dallas. When he was with the Federal Reserve, he was this internal optimist. GDP is right, inflation's right, everything's right. And I would talk to him about things like the substitution effect and all those things that are something that he had worked on personally and came up with, which was there to goose the GDP to make Alan Greenspan happy, because Greenspan's philosophy always was that GDP is understated because we're more productive than we are. So the Fed had to come up with a set of metrics that said, oh, we really are more productive, to justify Alan Greenspan's low interest rates and high growth assumptions. When he was with the Federal Reserve, he had one set of opinions. When he left the Federal Reserve, he's still my close friend. He's so much come more my way and your way, and the reality of what's happening out there. And you know, you're inside looking out, and you toe the company line. But smart guy, and I like him a lot, and especially like him since he's now on our side.
Well, there's the Wall Street Journal. A Fed insider calls for reform. Richard Fisher, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, believes there's too much power concentrated in the New York Fed. I mean, that's an amazing statement from this year. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, that's today, February 11th. So, I mean, there's a major fissure in the power structure, because a lot of these bankers, they like the power to issue unlimited currency and to control that. But when it's done to bring in a world government that's parenthetically against a free society, I think this New World Order has gotten so mature now that people on the inside are being forced to make a choice which side they're going to be on. Can you give us any intel from your sources about how serious the infighting is at the Federal Reserve?
I can't. That I don't get into, because a lot of the folks I know inside wouldn't comment. My friends on the outside don't have a good perspective. But keep in mind, people's positions change all the time. Dick Fisher's position changes. Dudley's position changes. They all fit into a story that looks current, and there's some dissension, but the dissension rotates. Sometimes they're positive, sometimes they're negative. I will say this. When you've talked about this a lot on your show, the key to this world working right this very minute is the strength of the U.S. dollar. Not that I think it should be stronger or weaker, but think about this. The U.S. has a printing press. The U.S. can do whatever it wants to with the world reserve currency. The U.S. has gone to war every time the dollar has been threatened. We can just pick the latest three. We have Iran, Iraq, and Libya. They all threatened to create a gold-backed dinar, a gold-backed currency. Anybody that creates a gold-backed currency is going to pose a threat.
And now the Russians are trying to create their own system based on petrol bricks or something, and so that's why we're starting a war with Russia.
Well, BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It's a coalition of those countries, and now they've added many, many more countries to the coalition. The whole purpose of BRICS was to trade among themselves and not have to use dollars, not have to convert to dollars first. It's very effective, and the number of countries, Canada is involved in this. Mexico's involved in this. As the dollar becomes less important in the world markets, the U.S.'s significance becomes less important. And that's what everybody wants. Everybody around the world wants the U.S. weakened but not dead. They want us to still consume, but they don't want us to be a blockade to their political strategies. They just want us weakened, and I think the currency is the way that they will do it.
Sure, and the globalists are playing both sides. They're heavily invested in BRICS and want to segue into that with a China-centered world system. But China is so fundamentally weak when you look at their real numbers that it just seems like a crazy plan they've cooked up. I don't see it working.
Well, yeah, and I've had a lot of close friends in finance that say the same thing. But think about China and Russia together. You know, normally they're mortal enemies. They're not mortal enemies right now. Russia has oil. China has production capacity. They have gold. Admittedly, both those economies are very weak. But truth be told, the United States economy is weak. And we're strapped with $18 trillion worth of debt that Russia doesn't have. So, I mean, everything balances out. But Russia and China have created, through BRICS, they've created their own Federal Reserve System. They've created their own SWIFT system, which is what we use to clear money in essentially in Western world finance. They've created their own system, which is parallel to everything in the West, just so they don't have to be intimidated by the United States.
Sure. I mean, I don't romanticize the Russians and people, but the establishment running the United States and Europe has abused the dollar hegemony and has really done some dangerous things and is forcing the world to try to build a life raft because it's so scary what's happening. I mean, I think that's what's really going on.
Yeah, and once you get countries, think of this, once you get countries trading between themselves, let's say Brazil and India have commodities to trade, what in the world should make them convert to dollars first and without trading directly the commodities? And if they trade a commodity for a currency, why shouldn't they trade for the Brazilian real?
Exactly. Stay there, Mr. Kofal.
Yeah.
Think about that, folks. The West is doing things that are going to kill the dollar, but if you try to leave it, then they attack you. I mean, it's crazy.
Attention Alex Jones listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to Alex Jones unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-562-5136. Try it now to listen to Alex Jones 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-562-5136. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear Alex Jones untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-562-5136.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
My name's Clyde, age 59, and I reside in Florence, South Carolina. The doctors diagnosed me as having clogged arteries. It felt like I was carrying heavy concrete blocks around my feet and legs. I started taking Heart and Body Extract as directed. It is less than 3 weeks, and I'm like a young man again. It's unbelievable that an herbal formula can work so fast and so powerfully.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
Folks are born made to wait to fly. Ooh, the red, white, and blue.
DanKofal.com is his website. I'm Alex Jones. And he's got a show out of Dallas that I hear GCN, the network that carries my broadcast, is going to work with him on to syndicate. So that's exciting. He's got a great show. DanKofal.com. He'll be with us in the rest of this short segment, the next segment, and then we are going to go into the second hour. I'm going to cover news and open the phones up. Then Vani Hari is going to be joining us, the Food Babe, for 30 minutes at the start of the third hour. And then Joe Biggs will be joining us on the Ukraine situation and more coming up in the last 30 minutes of the broadcast today. Then InfoWars Nightly News, of course, premieres every night, 7 o'clock Central, weeknights at prisonplanet.tv. If you're not a member of prisonplanet.tv, I got to say, why not? 20 people can use the same membership. It's $5.95 a month. You've got all my films, books, other documentaries, special reports, movies, rants, ebooks, commercial-free podcasts of the daytime radio show, and you help fund our whole operation. $5.95 a month, prisonplanet.tv. Sign up for a year, and it's even less money. I want to thank you all for your support. It's just like voting for, organic food or voting for local produce. Just you vote with your dollars and word of mouth. So I want to thank you all for your support. We are running several specials. We've got a human empowerment special running in the month of February for Valentine's. And that's super male and super female vitality, just concentrated organic herbs that will knock your socks off. I mean, I take it every single day. It truly is amazing. We've got 20% off the already discounted high-quality product at InfoWarsLife.com. We also have a free bottle of Herbal Defense, Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Booster that's so key during this time of the year when you get it with 2 bottles of the Super Nascent Iodine X2. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Dan, briefly looking at this, how can the people running the West devalue the dollar, do all this to other people's currencies, and then get mad at them when they start devaluing their currencies? And then if someone tries to create an alternative system, then they get militarily or economically attacked. I mean, it really is a sinister program of arrogance I see coming out of the West. Do you think it'll go on forever?
Nothing go on forever, but I do agree with what you just said completely. When we call the Chinese currency manipulators, well, what the heck do you call the Federal Reserve? What do you call the U.S. Treasury? What do you call them if they're not currency manipulators? Of course they are. And every country has the right to manipulate their own currency. Every country has the right to change their own trade policies. But the U.S. doesn't like it when it affects the dollar. Any challenge to the dollar will bring out the threats of war. Remember when Obama said he was going to pivot to Southeast Asia? Well, he did pivot to Southeast Asia because of China and Russia's and the BRICS alliance. You've also got Russia and Ukraine having an issue. One reason the U.S. is in Ukraine is to fight back against Russia. The U.S. can't let Russia and China get a toehold with establishing their own BRICS currency or their own financial systems. That would be such a huge challenge to the dollar. The dollar would be effectively finito.
But this bullying is still forcing them to move forward with that. So it seems almost inevitable. Instead of just trading with Russia, trading with China like Ron Paul says, and really being the good guys, I think we lose the moral authority playing these games.
No doubt about it. And it concerns me a lot because I used to be a Republican. I used to have all these strong thoughts, much like you did, about the United States. Now I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not anything. And I'm as conservative as they come. And I'm extremely concerned what our country must look like to other countries around the world.
Dan, stay there. I want to come back in 70 seconds and have you finish up and talk about our government working with Islamic extremists against Russia as well.
Visit GCNlive.com today.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride, GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.